we're live from 304 Studios in Jonesboro, Arkansas. This is an STSPOD Club production of BT. And this guy right over here, he has a simple philosophy in life. He is right, you're wrong, and John agrees with him. He's from Chicago, the home of Lance. I've always wanted to do this, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. Of the 1991 World Champion Chicago Bulls. We've probably got a strike for that. Snark of Excellence, my partner in crime, your friend and mine, most of the time, Lance Levine. And Lance, remember, we're the tastiest treats in podcasting. How the hell are you?
I thought it was tastiest snack.
Shit. I get that wrong every time.
So you know where I'm at. I am in the Reese's Caramel Big Cup Studios.
Oh, yes, baby. Big Cup.
They are every bit as good as they look, too. So they're sponsoring us today. Thank you very much, Reese's, or Reese PC, as some people.
Reese PC, yeah. You know, I hadn't touched anything like that in a while. So
you may have to touch those. You may have to.
I have. I've been being a good boy, so we'll talk about that sometime in December. They're just real quick. We're gonna review AEW pay-per-view. This is Dynamite, Full Gear, and we are here on a Sunday. Believe it or not, on a Sunday. And so, Lance, we do hits. We do, and this is
it's a trapezoid.
Okay, trapezoid round table.
Trapezoid table format. Yeah.
It's hits, misses, MVP. What are you looking forward to in AEW? What else? What comes next?
MVP.
AEW. I'm sorry, I got to be cool like you.
Yeah.
And the must see and thumbs up or thumbs down. We're going to start with you, and I know you're famous for the list, so give me a list.
I invented the list because
you did invent the list. Richard's a liar.
From P3 Radio. He's
don't mention his name. I'll bleep it out. They don't.
Yeah. He's
one of our biggest
fans.
fans.
Pants too. That's another thing. So. This, spoiler alert, I loved this pay-per-view, or I'm sorry, PLE. This event. So I have a long list for the hits. So let me get started right away. Samoa Joe's Renaissance. I am so entertained by Samoa Joe right now. The walking away from the offensive move, like when the guy is doing a drop kick and he just literally walks away and like waves his hand like, yeah, fuck that shit.
He's been doing that his whole career. For some reason, it's not popular.
It's
pretty awesome, though. I love it, too.
Having a lot of fun right now, so I'm really enjoying Samoa Joe. I loved the storyline, the show-long storyline, the Will MJF wrestle, the soap opera. I loved it. I thought, will Cole step in? Improbable. I don't know where you're going, but is it improbable? You know, is Cole going to work? Will Cole lay down and take the pin? Will Cole turn? Will Cole throw in the towel? Is he helping Switchblade all together with the ring and the title belt? So I loved it. I thought it was a creative way. I really was looking forward to Switchblade winning the title here, but I thought it was a creative way to get out of it. I loved the kids' choir singing in Christian. It was creepy. It was entertaining. Also, Edge's entrance, I don't know. It's so energetic, and it's so like, you're like, oh, yeah, fuck yeah, I want to watch this. There's just something different.
And they were all dressed alike, and it was like, this is wrestling. Yeah. I'm with you on that. That's so cool.
That kids' choir singing was so inspired. Orange Cassidy's heart, I think that continues to be the focus in his matches, especially with Moxley. Elevating him, I thought it was a much-needed win with Moxley. Just the heart that he keeps on showing. I think they're doing a really good job with that. The ladder match, AEW's ladder matches are never going to suck. I'll make that proclamation. It was a great match. Even with Large Bill in there, it was a great match. I was concerned about him. Starks was on a mission. So many big moves, so many dreadful, like killer moves on that. Just a fantastic. The layout of the women's three-way, nobody was ever shit-canned. I love the pacing of it. Every three-way, it's always somebody gets shit-canned on the outside of the ring.
That is the way you're supposed to do a three-way. That was a horrible match. Horrible.
Creative. I thought the girls worked well. I would have gone with Sky Blue. She's the total package, but Stat is a snooze. So let's go with Julia. Let's try it out. Let's see how it does. The Golden Jets versus the Bucks. Fantastic. It was Mount Rushmore. It was my pro wrestling Mount Rushmore. Those four men are my pro wrestling Mount Rushmore. Great match as expected. The Bucks getting booed in LA was weird, but let them stay either heel or face. Make a decision. I'm tired of this vacillating with those two guys. Just let them stay something for a while. And then finally, what was the number one hit of the show? I haven't mentioned it yet, so it's obviously Swerve and Hangman. Just the carnage, the staple gun, the blood, everything, just brutal. The barbed wire chair, the barbed wire board, the cinder block, the broken glass. Everybody, Hangman, the finish of Hangman getting hung. I probably wouldn't have gone with the Brian Cage interference, but it didn't bother me that much. But the work from these guys was just so impressive. You cannot take away the heart from these two guys. Number one hit of the show, a 5.25 star match, my friend, was Swerve versus Hangman. So give it to me. Let me hear your hit.
Well, here's my hits. This is my hits. Ospreay coming out, signing. I told you, I called it. Actually, I tell you where I heard that on the street at. I read the Observer, and Dave actually, if you read between the lines of this week's episode issue, you will see what he said. He actually read it right between the lines. It was Ospreay. Prince Nana dancing. That was a hit for me. That was one of the biggest hits of the night. I was thrilled that the Bucks and the Jets were actually having a wrestling match. I didn't care if it was flippity floppity, whatever. And then I like the actual main event. I'll talk about the build up and everything, but I really did like the main event match and the way it was worked. So that was my hits. So
that's a short list.
That's it. So what's your misses? What's your misses?
All right, my misses. Obviously, on the flip side, my misses list is going to be very short. Eddie Kingston's stupid fucking chops. Again, I can't stand it. It's like my dog itching her belly every time I see him doing those stupid chops with the hands going like this. I hate it. I'm tired of the heroic babyface stealing the ambulance to come back to the arena. I'm tired of it. It's overused. It's far-fetched. Enough with the ambulance jacking. Give it a rest for a while because it makes no sense whatsoever. I'm done with it. And who the fuck is Duralistico? I'm waiting for Dave to fill us in on this. He is the former Blue Cacti, El Hijo del Blue Cacti or whatever. Why is he in such a high-profile match? You know, it could have been any of the other luchadors that they have. But
that's Rush's brother. He's been tagging with Rush on a Ring of Honor Super Dark or something.
He's such an under-the-radar guy. And I know Phoenix is hurt, but there's other guys they could have gone with. Who the fuck is Duralistico? Anyway,
you're trying to put the Mexicans together. You're racist.
That lucha libre, it's a type of wrestling. So anyway, but my number one miss is definitely the finish of Timeless Tony and Shida. The finish of that match was the absolute dog shit with the metal tray sticking out of her ass right in front of the idiot ref, the awkward Edwards, right in front of her. Dumbass, look away. Do what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to be looking right at the heel using the foreign object for the finish, you dumbass. And then also devaluing Shida every time. I know you're not a Shida fan. I'm more of a Shida fan than you. But every time she loses the belt, like a couple weeks after winning it, it feels like. It devalues her every time. It's making every time she wins it into a joke. But just the finish of that match. The match itself was okay. It wasn't anything special. It wasn't dog shit until that finish. And then that finish was just dog shit. So that stupid metal tray sticking out of her pants.
I agree. That was not yeah.
They're just totally blowing it with Mariah May. That this girl could have come in as a huge star.
All right, go ahead. I'm ready for this one. So
she could have come in as a big star. They should have had.
She's not a big star. No one knows who the fuck she is.
I think the IWC knows who she is, and I think they could have. They're not doing her any favors debuting her as this backstage weirdness with RJ City, which is a stain on her right there, too. So anyway, but the worst thing, the miss of the show is the finish of Tony and Shida.
That was your major miss coming out?
That's it, because it was a great show.
Oh, it was God awful.
I know you're the long list here.
Here we go, long list. Right. And you were the inventor of the list, not that one guy who's our biggest fan.
Yep.
He's our biggest fan. That singing bullshit at the front of that match with them kids was horrible. Who cares about that? I'm going to give a miss just because Nick Wayne was on the fucking card. God dang, I hate him. Darby Allin, Darby's going to die. He's just going to die. That's all I know. He may be dead right now. He's climbing a mountain. He may be dead, yeah. The Jay White angle from the start to the end was stupid. Why would you do that? Why would you bring Adam Cole out limping? Stupid. The whole ambulance thing, like ambulance, like you said, that reminded me of WWE Attitude Era, and I thought Stone Cold, but it was just god awful, horrible. I'm sick of Orange Cassidy and his fucking orange punch. I think me and you and 40 other over 50 guys could take that and it wouldn't hurt you. The May girl, what the fuck are they doing? It just has no idea. You don't bring in a person who I don't know who is, and I don't think anyone else does, but you don't bring in a person like that, like you said. The Tony Storm stuff, it's already got old to me. It's just silly, and with the pan, like you said, I just hated that. I'm usually a fan of the female ref, Edwards. I am a fan of hers, but what the fuck did she do with her hair? She just made herself more ahead so everybody would look like her. Ospreay came out, signed this, man, I told you I had a bunch of misses, signed this big contract, and he looked like some bum off the street. Fucking dress up. Wear a suit. You're supposed to be a fucking star. And somebody backstage has finally got to say no when they start doing shit like that fucking Paige Swerve match. That was the worst match I've ever watched. Trash.
Wow.
The drinking of the blood was the sickest. I almost turned the whole pay-per-view off. Lance, I'm going to be honest with you. That's the reason the AEW will never fucking get popular. Right there, they will never get any more popular than they are right now. It won't be a big place because no one can say, no, don't do that. Horrible match. The Bucks, and I'm not saying this to be a joke because they put on the best match on the show, but they need to go get some hair transplants. They cannot call themselves the Young Bucks with ball spots up here. Go talk to Drew McIntyre. He had one. It's not there anymore. I wonder what happened. And then misses. My final miss was the announcer's desk that fell apart when they just laid somebody on it. So the announcer's desk, much like one time when the what was it? The ramp made the list.
The ramp.
Ramp made the list. Misses. The ramp made the list right here. Yep. The announcer's desk.
I think the ramp is now in the Hall of Fame.
It is in the Hall of Fame. It is in the Hall of Fame.
It should be in the Observer Hall of Fame.
I did have a parody account at one time, but I lost it. I don't know what happened to it. It was AEW ramp. All right, we're up to MVP.
MVP. So I'm going to start with my non-MVP because I have to make mention Aubrey Edwards for being an idiot. Not MVP. The worst performer, least valuable player on this.
I don't think so, but that hairdo, God,
terrible. Whew. And yeah, the hairdo too, of course, and the awkward stance, of course.
It don't matter. It doesn't bother me. I think she's a good ref, and I got to tell you one thing. I agree with Jericho. She always does Jericho's matches because he loves her and what she does in the ring, but there's a couple of things. I'm not going to get on a soapbox about her, but there's a couple of things you're not supposed to do as a ref. You're not supposed to be noticeable. And she takes that all away. But then she's also noticeable. Plus, she's wearing this DuFont going on. So DuFont hairdo from 1942.
Marge Simpson. Yeah, the Marge Simpson.
Yeah. All right, so, MVP.
All right, so MVP on my list, my runners up are Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks was excellent in the ladder match. He had so much fire in that match. I thought he just brought it in that match. Whenever he got in there, he got shit canned for a while in that match. He was out for a long stretch, actually. But when he came back in, man, he turned on the Jets. He was awesome in that match. So Ricky Starks did a great job. MJF. I'm going to mention MJF here because a year ago, we said MJF was a great talker and he was okay in the ring. That's what we would always say. He was serviceable in the ring, but what a great talker in the, team photo for some of the best talking of all time. But since then, he's done the Iron Man match. He's headlined Wembley. There's been some lame comedy along the way that is.
And I've enjoyed it. I mentioned that to you and Wolfman. I really do enjoy it.
I thought the comedy this year has been, some of it's been really lame and like below the level of the stuff he was doing, the level of the devil, if you will. But I think overall he's really upped his game.
Hold on. Go ahead and trademark that. Go ahead and trademark
the level of the devil.
We just trademarked that. Yeah,
right. There we go. So, but of course, it's the broken record, and we're gonna disagree on this. My MVP is a tie between Swerve and Hangman because I just love that match. They gave it their all, their heart, and I'll agree with you. That blood part was tough to watch. I said, there were definitely some parts of that match that were tough to watch, but I cannot take away from the heart that those guys poured into that match. I can't believe we disagree so strongly on it, but my MVP is Swerve and Hangman. It's a tie.
It was the match that I looked forward to the most, and it's the match that almost made me turn off the pay-per-view completely, but I knew we were doing this show. My MVP, Lance, my MVP is the customers that paid money for that horse shit that I had to watch last night. So that is my MVP. Thank you. Woo-hoo! And AEW thanks you, the customers.
I'm celebrating.
Including you, Lance.
Paying customer. That's right.
Oh, God, awful. Hey, we're going to take a commercial break, and if you're listening to it on video, if you're seeing it on Facebook today, Sunday, right after the Cowboys' big win, if you're watching on Twitter or whatever, you don't get to watch or hear the whole show. We're going to commercial break, and when we come back, well, you gotta go to the main feed, or if you want to hear the Patreon stuff, we're going to give our star ratings. So our Meltzer star ratings for the matches right after the commercial break. Commercial break.
Pink.